All right, so today we're taking a deep dive into the life and legacy of Robert Mugabe, a figure who, well, his legacy is really complicated. I mean, this is a guy who led Zimbabwe for almost 40 years, from 1980 to 2017. How does someone go from being hailed as a liberation hero to becoming such a controversial figure?
Yeah, it's a real head scratcher. And the sources we have paint a very interesting picture, to say the least. We've got some excerpts from this YouTube channel called Daateku channel. Seems to have a more, I don't know, personal take on things. Then we'll be looking at his Wikipedia page, which, is more the official record, so to speak.
Right, yeah. We'll definitely have to compare and contrast, see where they line up and where they diverge. So I guess our mission today is to explore both the good and the bad, the highs and lows of Mugabe's career, from, the fight for independence to all the controversy that surrounded him in his later years.
Absolutely. We'll try to uncover how his actions really shaped Zimbabwe's path, and maybe try to wrap our heads around the complexities of his legacy.
Definitely, because it is complex. So where do we even begin with a figure like Mugabe?
Well, his early life is pretty interesting. Believe it or not, he actually came from very humble beginnings, grew up in a rural village. It wasn't exactly the kind of background that screams future dictator.
Oh, yeah, that is surprising. So what were some of the early influences that shaped his worldview?
His Jesuit education seems to have played a big role. His teachers, particularly this one priest, Father Jerome Ohia, really emphasized ideas of racial equality. And they also instilled in him this fascination with Irish rebellion against the British. Kind of ironic, don't you think, considering what happened later on?
It really is. Makes you think about those early seeds of rebellion and how they might have grown. But, the source material also talks about how academically gifted he was. Like, he earned multiple degrees while he was in prison, economics, law.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible. Prison basically became his university. That kind of dedication to learning, even under those conditions, it says a lot about his drive and his intellect.
Right.
And it actually makes you wonder, did that knowledge, like his grasp of economics, did it influence his policies once he was in power?
That's a good question. It also makes you wonder how someone with such a sharp mind could make some of the decisions he made later on. Decisions that really hurt his country. So how did this educated young man go from intellectual to revolutionary?
Well, he started out as a teacher in southern Rhodesia, got involved in politics early on, first joining ZAPU, one of the first movements for black majority rule. But then later he co-founded ZANU, a rival party that was, more militant in their approach to ending white minority rule.
So we're talking about Rhodesia here, which was still under white minority rule at the time. And these two parties, ZAPU and ZANU, they were